Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Box, where we'll be reviewing the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. With me today, Adam Todd,
good afternoon,
Craig McLean,
hello,
and Craig Edwards
Alright.
as well. Straight on with qualifying, not a whole lot happened. Bottas got pole for about the third time in his career, was I right in saying? No, it was his third one, but well, he got pole anyway. Not a lot else happened, no real surprises or shocks. Maybe a bit disappointing for Lance Stroll, 15th on the grid again.
He'd be quite happy to get out of Q1.
Yeah,
That's actually
great.
better
A
than
slight improvement on what he's been doing
recently.
in
It
the
was
past few
obviously
weeks.
the Sunday was actually a bit worse for Stroll this time.
Anything you would take from qualifying?
Toro Rosso have really shot himself in the foot in the last half of the season, and that was proved in qualifying. They've absolutely given up, and we're going to realise that it's cost them a few £1 million.
Hartley was
Sunday's
6/10 behind 19th place Marcus Ericsson, so you know they've got some work to do there.
It's an interesting choice still, I think, Brendan Hartley for Formula One. He signed up for the entirety of 2018, so it's kept up for 2017. He left, he got dropped. So will Hartley, will he improve? So with Sainz, he decided to go elsewhere. So yeah, the Toro Rosso project is in a bad place, I'd say, at the moment compared to where it was. Honda is huge. If Honda step it up next season, things could look very good. If they don't, they might not look great. Gasly's also done slightly more disappointing than I expected.
Yeah. Anything you two want to take from qualifying?
big lap for Bottas. It's the first time he's kind of managed to beat Hamilton for a pole position, because it was really just Mercedes Ferrari didn't have the one lap pace, or the race pace even. So yeah, for Bottas, final race of the season to out-qualify his teammate, that was a huge relief for Bottas, I'm sure, and obviously was hoping to make amends for what happened in Brazil when he lost out to Vettel at the start. So big lap from Bottas.
Yeah. Just going to the race, not a lot happened in the first few laps. I think they were the top 10 were the same order as they started until about lap 10. Magnussen had a spin.
Interesting
seemed to
start.
enjoy doing that.
He ran wide at turn 1 when way too hot, came back on, and then I don't know, he was alongside. He's lost it on his own card.
Grosjean's had a couple of spins in the last couple of races as well. Do you think it's a Haas thing, or do you think it's just coincidence that it seems to be those two drivers?
They could have given up, I suppose, with developing the car too. Maybe there are just a few Grosjean likes to complain about his brakes, so
maybe a bit of imbalance in the car or something like that. You could make him spin all the time. The first retirement of the race, Daniel Ricciardo, not getting a little luck at the minute, is he, Adam?
No, he's not. 3 retirements in his last 4 races, basically got Max Verstappen's car. So yeah, I suppose I've always said kind of luck does even itself out over the course of a season. I think that's kind of been proved towards the back end of the season. It's a shame for Ricciardo to lose out to Raikkonen in the standings, because I think to have that on your CV, if you like, as a driver, and you think just how strong and dominant that Ferrari has been this season at certain races, and for a Red Bull, and you consider the bad start they've had, for Ricciardo to have beaten Raikkonen in the standings, I think would have been a fantastic job. But nevertheless, still a great season.
Yeah, obviously Craig wasn't a great start for Haas. Obviously they were in the constructors' fight this weekend. Also for Renault as well, they shot themselves in the foot as well. Loose wheel on Carlos Sainz's car led to him retiring, which I managed to pull out in the end.
Yeah, with Hulkenberg. The Sainz incident it shows how much fractions of seconds are in Formula 1 that they're risking it. Hulkenberg, you've got the weird one as well. You've got his overtake on Perez, which I don't know what.
That was interesting. Yeah, Perez did, in my view, leave him nowhere to go, but he wasn't ahead of him, so he did need to let him back through. But then a 5-second time penalty, and he was 5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, there's got to be a stronger penalty for that, surely.
It's no
because
penalty.
in future races, drivers could easily think to themselves, right, I'm just going to cut this corner.
You save more time cutting the corner even with the penalties than you would.
Well, exactly. So it just means next season they're opening up a big can of worms. Completely needless.
An incident in Formula 2 as well. I think it was it even Formula 3? It might have been like Falciaro or Puccini or something like that. Cut a corner on the last lap and didn't even give the place back. I think he got a penalty after the race, but
And Bob Fernley, Force India, made a very good point after the race. While it didn't affect Force India, obviously they'd already had fourth up, but for Renault, to get that extra almost $7 million, it just means they're going to be more competitive next year and means Force India at more of a disadvantage. So that decision by the FIA has huge repercussions heading into next season.
Going back to the two retirements as well, Ricciardo's retirement, there was one stage of the season when I thought Ricciardo could push for third. They really shot himself in the foot in the last few races. I think he got, was that a 6th place finish in the one race he finished as well? So Raikkonen beating him in the championship is poor from Red Bull. Like, you'd have really let that slip. And Sainz Jr., he did well actually not to crash in the pit lane exit. That would have been absolutely chaotic. So
yeah, I heard one of the commentators saying, "Why don't you just stop in the tunnel?" It's like, because then he's blocking the
yeah,
pit lane exit.
that would have been a red flag situation. Nobody would have been able to get out of the pit lane.
That seems to be a theme for some teams in the latter part of the season. Shooting themselves in the foot, just doing silly little things, mechanical issues, things like that, where they really let it slip and they seem to have just sort of lost all concentration.
I think as well, a lot of the teams, you'd look, a lot of the teams that are in no man's land would kind of write this year off.
Yeah.
And a lot of, even the big engine manufacturers, you're not really going to push out a big upgrade or anything. You'll just be prepared for next year. And you've seen that with Renault, that it's all just fallen to pieces.
Saying that, Hulkenberg recovered 6th in the championship for them. So
final race standings, Bottas was the ultimate victor. Hamilton, Vettel, Raikkonen, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Perez, Ocon, Alonso and Massa making up the top 10. And then it was Grosjean, Van Dorn, Magnussen, Verline, Hartley, Gasly, Ericsson and Stroll, with Sainz and Ricciardo retiring. A couple of things to note from that, Lance Stroll, P18, very disappointing for him. I think he had some kind of issue, but he would still probably like to do better than that in the last race of the season. And another thing I wanted to pick up, a very impressive P14 for Pascal Wehrlein, and it looks like he won't even get a drive next season.
I think more impressive is Magnussen's P13, considering what happened at the start. To actually fight back and finish above 4 or 5 cars as well. Obviously, it's a shame about Wehrlein, doesn't look like he's going to get a seat, but it's not the end of the world. There's drivers who've had a season out and had a good career in recent times. Alonso, Massa,
I think the big issue for Wehrlein actually happened last season when it was Ocon that got the Force India seat.
Yeah.
Not him. And that seemed to jump in the queue. We always thought it's Wehrlein that fast.
We always thought as well Wehrlein was even possibly in for a chance of the Mercedes seat before they gave it to Bottas. So, and it's a shame that they didn't then give the Williams seat to Wehrlein. Instead, they brought Massa back for an unnecessary season.
It must have been quite difficult for Wehrlein because, as you obviously mentioned about when Ocon was chosen to go to Force India, then this Mercedes seat opens up. He's telling everyone he's ready, and he probably thought he would have a chance of the seat. Doesn't get it, and then he's at Sauber for another year. Now, obviously, he's going out of Formula 1 potentially. The guy does have a lot of.
I think at the end of 2018, a Force India driver will move. So Wehrlein should hold on. He still has a chance to get a seat in 2019, I think.
Anything else anyone wants to take from those final race standings?
Bottas, massive win for him. He's been poor in the last half of the season, so a victory is really important. Hamilton not able to overtake him the whole race, I think, is an indication of how poor Formula 1 cars are running in obviously the hot air behind other cars. Hamilton is, as we know, a quicker driver on his day than Bottas, but Pole ended up pretty much deciding the race. Hamilton just couldn't get to him, and maybe that's why Bottas has been struggling this last half of the season. Maybe the Mercedes is just impossible to overtake in. Because usually one of them's at the front and
Mercedes
one of them's
is never good when it's been full-on cars. You saw that when they've maybe had 10 place grid penalties in the past few years. They've always struggled, and it's a shame other teams haven't been able to exploit that more often this season.
So obviously we would say it was quite a boring race. What do you think can be done to improve that for next season, if anything?
Well, they've already talked about changing the track layout, but I don't understand where this track layout change is taking place.
Yeah, I'm interested about that as well. There's, I think maybe not a bad idea could be at the, obviously you've got the long straight, the chicane, then another long straight. That then goes into quite a fiddly section. I think at the end of that second straight, put a hairpin, and then kind of feed it back into the kind of section of corners. I think.
So take out the 3.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a chicane, a left, and then you've got the sweeping right. So I think a hairpin that kind of feeds into the sweeping rights is not a bad idea.
Okay, so it's time for the awards for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Starting off with best and worst driver, Adam.
Right. Best driver for me, Bottas. Cole, I think he got the fastest lap as well, and he won. So the Grand Slam, if you like. Worst driver, Lance Stroll.
Nothing else to say on that.
No explanation necessary.
Craig?
Best driver. I'll give it to Massa since it was his last race.
Being kind.
He got a point.
That is kind considering Alonso finished ahead of
True. Worst driver?
Stroll was dreadful.
I don't
Absolutely
think there's
dreadful.
going to be much inconsistency on this. Craig?
Best driver, I'd give it to Alonso, because to pass up Williams in a Mercedes
Adam's
with a Mercedes engine in a McLaren Honda's not. And those two they were the highlight of the race.
I think that was Williams' fault because he didn't put under the
Yeah.
virtual safety car, which was, I think, that incredible. I mean, surely Alonso is your main rival, just copy what he does, but they waited a few extra laps. By that time, the virtual safety car.
Even since the hybrid era, they've always had with Williams, they've always been slow to react.
Exactly.
In 2014, they had a good
Silverstone, when the
Yeah.
front row, the
2014 in Austria.
2014 in
Massive
Austria,
goal,
was
yeah.
it 2015 actually?
2015
Silverstone.
Silverstone.
It's
And then
probably-
neither of them ended up on the podium.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Missed opportunities. Your worst driver?
Just make it different from the make it ununanimous. Go with Ericsson. You see what Verline's doing in the Sauber beating Toro Rosso's. Ericsson's not really anywhere.
It looks like he will
I
probably get the
don't know
same
where he will
races.
be though. In the car next season.
For me, best driver, I'm going to go for Pascal Verlaine, and worst, I'm going to go for Lance Stroll as well. So almost a clean sweep across the board. For him, best and worst team, Adam.
Best team for me has to be Mercedes. 1 and 2, difficult target. Been fantastic all season long. Reliability's been phenomenal. Lewis Hamilton, not a single retirement this season.
That's an impressive
Yeah,
stat.
when you think how many races as well there are in a season now, 20. So
Same as Force India though. Force India, no mechanical retirements as it were, which is very impressive from a team of their budget compared to.
Yeah,
Those
Mercedes.
how
Mercedes
good the
did have.
Mercedes engine is.
Mercedes did have a mechanical failure.
Yeah, with Bottas.
Bottas,
Yeah,
but
they
Force
had
India
no
didn't.
wins,
Yeah.
worst team, Toro Rosso.
Craig?
I hate how he goes first because that's exactly what I was wanting to say. Best team. I mean, performance-wise, I'll go Renault. They were the best in the midfield, although obviously they had the issue with Sainz Jr. So it was a pit lane error, which was unfortunate, but they were quick and it's promising for next season. Worst team. You got Toro Rosso. They've given up.
Craig?
I think you can only give it to Mercedes. They were literally in a world of their own in Abu Dhabi. No one could get near them. Vettel,
20 seconds off the lead.
yeah, and he was in a world of his own as well. So Mercedes' best team. It's got to go with Toro Rosso's worst. There's no. Everyone else had at least one driver that did a half decent job, and Hartley and Gasly just.
It's like Dumb and Dumber in those cars, isn't it? For me, yeah, Toro Rosso worst team and best team Force India, another solid 10 points to add to their already very impressive total. So that is the awards for this week. We go on to the news section now. 3 things to talk about. First off, post-season testing. Some very interesting names and faces hopping in the cars for this one. Craig?
I've not really followed it much, I'm not going to lie. I was probably the worst person to ask there. Adam, you can edit that bit out.
Yeah. Adam, go for you then.
Well,
Robert Kivitz, I told
yeah,
us doing that.
that's basically the big story, isn't it? Obviously, Kubica was testing, and basically, he's going to be in the car next season, I think, isn't he? He's 90 whatever percent, I think. So that was a big story at testing. That's what every day. Oh, did you see the photo of his actual car?
Slightly warm.
Yeah, he's got extra room for his arms, which I found interesting.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's,
It's
he's
really
obviously
dynamic,
he's obviously still got a slight issue. He's quick though. I mean, obviously he was on the fastest tyre, the new Hypersoft, but I think he has shown that he will have the pace, and also that he can do long runs, which I think was another one. It's okay doing a couple of quick laps, but he can actually do a full race simulation. He was able to do double that over 100 laps.
And then the important thing as well, he's got the red light. And if you watch when he was in the Renault, he had the green light.
Yeah, the super license now.
Now, so he's got a question: why would you go through the extent of gaining one if you weren't going to be racing?
Also testing was Charles Leclerc. Looks as if
My
he's
boy.
shooing for the Sauber Alfa Romeo seat next season.
Apparently it will be Leclerc alongside Ericsson. I'm looking forward to Leclerc winning 21-0 in qualifying and hopefully races if it goes well. I've discussed with you off air that I believe that the grid next season is set to be one of the worst for a good 6-7 years anyway. You're going to have Toro Rosso with their weakest lineup in years. Haas's lineup, I think Haas is actually okay. That's probably the preferred one to pick. But Williams have a risky lineup. You've still got your Ericssons on the grid, you know. So I think someone like Leclerc, who, in my view, is a future star in Formula 1, could shine. And I think if he manages to really shine in that Sauber in his first season, I think he could get them as high as 8th or maybe even 7th in the constructors' standings if they've got a brand new Ferrari engine next season. And if he really, really does shine, he could get Raikkonen's seat. That's probably going to be up for grabs in 2019.
You're wanting to see Giovinazzi in there as well, rather than Marcus Ericsson.
Giovinazzi, in my view, is a more talented driver.
They're all
Giovinazzi
like that.
was unfortunate not to win the Formula 2 World Championship the GP2 World Championship as it was in 2016. Gasly just pipped him. So I think Giovinazzi is a very good driver. I mean, it'll be Ericsson's 5th season in Formula 1. He's not really achieved anything. It's just a couple of points finishes.
Day driver, that's what.
Money's keeping him in.
Yeah.
So speaking of Sauber, obviously the new Sauber Alfa Romeo partnership was announced over the weekend or the start of the week. What are your thoughts on that, and do you think it will be a positive for F1?
Yeah, it's 100% positive for F1. Huge to have a big brand like Alfa back in the sport. Obviously, they were in the early 50s and won championships with Fangio and Farina, the very first one. But of course, they didn't have the Constructors' Championship back then, so and then obviously we're back in late 70s, early 80s, and that didn't go quite as successful. But I think just to have another brand in Formula 1 is huge, and especially when you've got Aston Martin coming in as well, 2021. And obviously they're going to be the main sponsor next year for Red Bull, so I think there's a lot of positives in Formula 1. I mean, we did talk about how boring Abu Dhabi was, and I think there is a fundamental issue with Formula 1, but it's good to see big brands are still attracted to the sport, especially how well Formula E's done recently in attracting big car manufacturers to that sport, so it's good to see that people still view F1 as a big market.
You need manufacturers, it's necessary for the future of the sport. I think it'll be the first time since about 2008 where obviously that point we had. Ferrari, Honda, Toyota, BMW, McLaren were essentially a Mercedes manufacturer at that point. You know, you need it, you really do for the sport.
So that's some positive news, but also on the other end of the scale, Santander are going to be ending their partnership with Ferrari, so something not so great for them.
Don't think it will affect them that hugely.
The money Ferrari's got.
Yeah, the money Ferrari's got.
That-
It's obviously a
not
big
that
name to
individual
leave the sport,
case,
though.
yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Are you worried that others might follow them? They're not.
I think the
They're not
problem
seeing
is
the
Santander
future
came
in
in.
F1.
They've really followed Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
So I think they were with McLaren in 2007, and they kind of maintained that relationship slightly. But when Alonso left, he joined Ferrari. When he joined Ferrari in 2010, obviously Alonso went to Renault, but they moved to Ferrari, and they've kind of followed Alonso. Obviously, being a Spanish bank, good marketing, especially when Alonso was fighting at the front then. And since then, I've actually been surprised that they have stayed with Ferrari for this long. But it is a blow to the sport because, of course, don't forget they do sponsor, or they have done a lot of races.
Yeah. There was the Santander British Grand Prix for.
Yeah, as you say, Ferrari, you know, they don't need to worry about money, do they?
It's the bigger picture.
But I think, yeah, from the bigger picture for Formula 1 to lose a sponsor as big as Santander is a blow. But of course, they brought in Heineken, I think just last year, and they're an official sponsor as well. So we are still attracting sponsors to the sport, but nevertheless, it is a blow.
It does give a market to someone else though.
True.
So one goes out, inevitably someone's got to replace them. So
Some great points there in our Abu Dhabi review podcast. Thanks to Adam Todd,
Thank you.
Craig McLean,
Thank you.
and Craig Edwards
Thank you.
as well. Look out next week for our season review, a whole hour-long special. So watch for about 2 minutes of that one, then tune out. But we'll try and make it interesting. So watch out for that. Thank you very much for watching, and
Box.
I gave my